started.
See out at the beginning of a seed like this.
Well, I would imagine we're going to see what we usually see. You're going to start in Super Metroid, and if you're not familiar with the Link to the Past and Super Metroid Combo Randomizer, there are 4 cross-game portals, and we'll see the first one here at the Criteria Map Station. I would imagine that's where our runners are going to head first, as there's nothing other than the Morph Pedestal that is logical to be checked here. So a lot of your early game stuff is going to happen in Link to the Past. It's going to be, well, what you would consider to be Sphere 1 in a regular rando seed here.
Nice beam on the island.
Oh, that's a place for that, isn't it? So that's not something you kind of want to see just kind of chilling where it is.
So at the very beginning, with the race settings, the morph ball location is randomized. It is possible to set the morph ball location in its vanilla spot, but the beginning of these seeds generally end up being the Great Morph Ball Hunt.
You're looking for one of 2 orbs, the Morph Ball or the Moon Pearl. You could find Dark World access long before you can actually do much in Super Metroid. We saw a map check there, Era, from both of our players. What did you see?
Because I was paying attention to Neaterific getting bombs from I believe the Tier 3 tree pool.
Yeah, 2 packs of supers for him already. We're going to see a Houlihan from Bressingham, and if you missed it, the map check had 3 crystals, one of them red.
Ooh. Or good making for a jet seed because, you know, if you could get Turtle Rock to be a pendant or maybe Mire to be a pendant or just some of the annoying Dark World dungeons to just never have to visit them.
So with those bombs, Neaterific's not going to have to worry about whether or not he's going to see bombs going to CAC, whereas we're going to see Bressingham do the south to north route. He's probably going to hit these 50-50 bushes here.
Certain objects in the game are likely to have or have a 50-50 shot of having a specific drop. In this case, 2 of those bushes have a 50-50 shot of containing 1 bomb.
So checks are going to come visible very quickly here. That's just a missile pack. We might consider picking that up, but I think you hold on to your bomb here because you're going to see a lot more missiles in a bit. Oh my goodness. The bombs are absolutely free tonight, Era.
Ooh, that's a mirror on the library. So boots might not be required, but they'll be going there pretty quickly if they do get boots.
Let's see. You don't want to say no to mirror, even if it's not required, just because it might still gate something. And in fact, it's one of the nicer items for just going through some dungeons in particular. Not only does it unlock Swamp Palace to begin with, but have you ever tried traversing Palace of Darkness without a mirror?
Yes, and I don't like it.
Yeah, stuff like that is rather painful. But it might be a little bit, or it might be literally no time at all before we see the boots. Speaking of going fast and moving places, there's a flute in Chicken House.
And then I missed it, but chat has us covered. Lumberjack had $20.
So we got bombs for free all over the place, and Bressingham is still going to buy some, but he's got that early flute that Nito's not going to be picking up until after he's done with most of the north side Kakariko checks here.
Also, Rise Salute. We have a duck.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first can-fly item has been activated, and Bressingham will have the ability to just soar across the world. But first, he's going to buy an E-Tank from the bottle merchant, because he's got the extra money.
This thing bottle merchant can sell you.
You know, 10 arrows. Oh, hello, early Morph Ball.
All we need is a couple of suits to make all of the runners mad.
There's our second can fly item, our first logical can fly for Super Metroid. You got a morph ball, you got some bombs in the well, you got some power bombs. I think we might see our runners finish up some Sphere 1 and probably take a dive into Super Metroid early here.
And the quick medallion in the well as well. So each runner is now checking the spots the other has already checked. How do you feel about getting morph ball bombs early?
Morph ball bombs early. Now, it's good to have, especially in situations where your power bomb count's probably going to be a little low. In terms of what it unlocks logically, give me space jump, please.
Not a fan of doing like all of Lower Norfair with just bomb jumps or
just absolutely
Criteria power bomb. No.
Oh, Criteria power bombs being illogical. I would expect them actually to give that a shot right off the ship here.
That's an item I like to wait for either Space Jump or Speed Booster. Just because of how annoying it is, the IBJ.
Yeah, luckily it's not an item that you have to go way out of your way to get, since anytime you go into a transition or reset without saving in Super Metroid, it puts you on the ship. So
Nito gets his flute. We'll get another chance to salute.
Now, I have to wonder, actually, just how much Sphere 1 do you think these two are going to go through before they take the reset?
Personally, I would do the, item dense checks. So, I see Bressingham go to the dam. I guess probably the dam into Mini Moldorm into maybe Ice Rod just to get it out of the way. And then maybe check Sahashloros. I can't ever pronounce his name right. Go check his hut.
Sarsaparilla.
Sarsaparilla, yes. Go check his hut. And then maybe Eastern, but I wouldn't be surprised to see reset pretty soon.
Oh, I would absolutely do an Eastern skip here with the knowledge that it is the 5-6 crystal up there, and you have 3 crystals in your light world. You got the mirror chilling on the library. I feel like this game is hard pointing you at Super Metroid.
I'd probably end up skipping Hyrule Castle. I might skip Eastern, and I'd skip Agena.
Contrary, I might actually see someone. I would think someone might even take the shot at going to Agena since it's so available early.
Moldorm. This bomb's always a little bit iffy. It can be a little trolly, but
just think this could always be worse. You could have to do with that. You could have to do this with a bow and just 10 arrows. Oh, and this is going to be nice to have for going into Super Metroid as well. Plasma is the single greatest damage output upgrade you could get for the beam.
Super Metroid. Probably the only thing that I would consider maybe slightly better as a nice to have item is Screw Attack.
Oh, you mean the jump into everything and it dies item? Got it.
Yes.
Sorry to all the Spazer fans out there in chat. If we see it, we're not going to see it turned on.
Unless they pick it up in Super Metroid accidentally.
And that's usually a bad feeling, especially if you already have Plasma, because I have to go into your menu and just scroll down and click Plasma and go out. It's just a big old. I would call that a time waste, wouldn't you?
It's a little not too bad though. Stun price was $20, so that's not money's not going to be a problem this seed.
Interesting, it looks like Bressingham is going to take a dive into the castle now. We did see the key in Sanctuary, if I'm not mistaken. So that
That's
means
correct.
these front checks are in logic.
We'll see where Nidorific heads to. Going to number 8, probably getting the ice rod check out of the way.
Yeah,
I'm a
you'll see
little
a
bit
lot of...
surprised. I'm a little bit surprised by this Hyrule Castle check without a good weapon, or I guess a faster weapon. Because it's easy enough to do with bombs, but it is pretty slow.
Yeah, bomb escape is nice to be able to do when you think you're going to make a big bang out of this play, but right now, so far the seed's been just like saying, go to Super Metroid, go to Super Metroid, and Nito unearths a sword, so that's going to be an instant time save if he decides to go in the same direction. I think he's going to do... Yeah, he's going to do it.
Nidorific also making the Hyrule Castle play, which actually surprises me. And we'll definitely have a much faster time going through it.
And there's Spring Ball, the other nice item to have here. So you got 10 power bombs, morph ball bombs, and Spring Ball. So getting in and out of bomb tunnels and all that is going to be absolutely no problem for our runners today.
Think any of them will go all the way through Dark Cross into the back of Escape out of logic?
I don't see that from Bressingham, especially if we don't see the map here. Nito might do it since he has a sword.
So I know you mentioned during the intro that the seed isn't going to require any of the hard logic stuff, but you might still see the runners go out of logic if it suits them. In which doing rooms in the dark is most definitely out of logic.
Yeah, unlike the Link to the Past standalone randomizer that does have an advanced placement logic that allows you to go through dark rooms with a fireball, provided you have torches within them, SMZ3 is going to hard require you to find the lamp to put something in logic. And of course, if you go all the way through the back of Escape without a lamp, that's a sequence break, and you could find some nice goodies back there, or you could just find, more money.
Bressingham doing the eastern area checks. And he won't be the first person, nor the last, to accidentally pick up that bomb. We're trying to lift up the pots.
And Nito setting up the Death Warp, so I would imagine he's going to do at least the Dark Cross check. He might take it all the way through if he feels particularly confident in the 3-heart dark play. We're going to see Eastern from Bressingham here after Hospital gave us basically nothing. He did give us some information on what our seed looks like in the Dark World, though. Misery Mire is our green pendant.
Certainly one of the better dungeons to have as a pendant. To take a medallion requirement potentially out of play. And Misery Mire is just one of those annoying dungeons that just turns into a big key hunt. Sometimes.
Showing us what you do to some snakes with the Quake Medallion turns them into those little onion things, and they take 1 slash, and apparently we've got an extra bomb out of it.
Nito's trying to use the sword to help him search for the chest in the dark. Found it, contains the map. So it does mean there are 3 items in the back here.
I do like this call from Nito to go all the way back here, because otherwise you could find a glove back here if it's, just locked by lamp. Bressingham's gonna have a look at what's going on in Eastern. We see some more missiles, and the ammunition's nice to have.
He has already picked up the big key, so hoping for items in the next 2 chests, so it doesn't have to go in the back.
Well, without a boat, we're not talking about going to Armos Knights anyhow, and we're gonna have to go there later. We're gonna have a look-see at what the back 3 items have for us in Escape, and that'll be a full clear of Hyrule Castle.
Nothing doing. Just a little bit of luxury. And that is the God Eastern item placement wise, but nothing doing actually for progression. And there is the reset to Super Metroid for Bressingham.
Now, there's quite a bit that Bressingham can do here in SM, so I would be interested to see which path he decides to take right off the bat.
Looks like he's going to try his hand at Gauntlet.
Honestly, this is a great call. It's, is it in logic with Morph Ball Bombs? I actually forget.
Yes. I don't remember what the health requirement is. And and I also believe that 10 power bombs is sufficient for Gauntlet. 5 is not.
Yeah, 10 power bombs is great for Gauntlet. You know, even if you have 5 and Morph Ball Bombs, it just makes it easier to have the power bombs. On normal, the energy requirement is 2. So he's good to get whatever's back here.
Now, the wall jump isn't required in logic, but since he had Morph Ball Bombs, could have definitely reached it. Nidorific decided not to go into Eastern, just checked Sarsaparillas and didn't get much there.
And Nito's going to take this shot at the landing site power bombs here. Chat pointing out he also remembered to turn on plasma, which is going to... Oh, no. Bressingham falls down one side and doesn't get penalized for it at all.
Never punished. And successfully remembers...
Oh, my goodness.
successfully remembers to check the spot when doing Gauntlet first. And gets rewarded with a charge beam. So, with charge and plasma, you might start seeing runners start skipping all of the ammo. Except maybe they may pick convenient supers up, but I would expect seeing missiles and out of the way super missiles just to be left behind.
And that's also 2/3 of our microwave combo. If you like yourself some microwave Phantoon, Bot Moon, Dragon, all we need for that now is the X-ray scope, and we're good to go. That's going to be Bressingham's first sword.
Bressingham doing an out-of-logic trick called the Mach Ball in order to get under the speed gates.
A little bit of run momentum conservation there while in ball form. If you tap down at just the right time, allows you to circumvent the logical requirement for speed booster in rooms such as this one. And just like that, we go from 10 power bombs to 20.
Always useful, even with normal bombs. Now checking the... I forget what the little creatures are called. Are they Edacoons?
Yep, these guys are the Edacoons, and the speed booster little ostrich thing is the Decora.
Yes.
If we visit the Decora, it's usually not a good thing.
Meteorific about to pick up his charge beam.
And I would be guessing he's probably happy to see that.
I'd be interested to see how many more missile packs they willingly choose to pick up at this point. Because missiles still can be nice and convenient for some enemies. But
A nice cache of missiles is also kind of important for a boss fight like Phantoon, just because it's one of the faster ways to kill him without putting him in that enraged state, which we can talk about a little bit later. Right now we've got Big Pink from Bressingham.
Neatorific's right on his heels.
And that's going to be Master Sword for Nito, so that's going to be pretty nice to have, actually.
Master Sword word. I still need a lamp for logical AGA 1 access.
And even with that, you need a Moon Pearl to be able to really do anything within the Dark World, because we currently don't have a way to get around.
Who wants to see Moon Pearl on Pyramid?
Hey, it's happened before.
No, I call the jet seat, so we don't want that, right? We don't want Moon Pearl on Pyramid Ledge, right?
I'm sure chat does.
Never mind. Never mind. Would that be considered reverse commentators, Jinx?
That's more like a comp blessing, I would say.
Mention the worst case scenario, and it just gets found the next item.
And doing the one gate glitch that you can do from this side in the wave gate pressing him is going to show us more supers.
I would expect our runners to just pick up all of the easy-to-get super missiles like that one. Having a bunch of supers is still faster DPS-wise than just charging plasma. Oh my gosh, that's a speed booster.
That's quite a punch for a speed booster.
And one of the best places to get it, because it just means you're not orphaning Waterway now. Even if doing this room without gravity is a little annoying.
Yeah, this isn't logic suitless. You can do a simple short charge here and just jump spark your way left, which I think the reason that we see him trying to bomb some enemies is his energy count's kind of on the lower side and getting lower every time we goose spark there. There we go.
And gets rewarded with 5 arrow capacity and the peace of mind that you don't have to come back here after you get the speed booster.
Yeah, speed logically gates a number of things, and it hard gates a couple of things you probably don't want to have to go all the way back for. Waterway is one of those.
I'd consider it one of the most orphaned item locations if you do the Bryn loop without speed booster early. Bressingham going ahead and using the power bomb there. He will have to be pretty careful in the upcoming room if he goes back, because his energy count is really low and those giant side hoppers do a massive amount of damage. So
yeah, he's gonna go ahead and just
he's in a danger zone here.
Oh boy. Yeah,
but he knows exactly what he's doing to avoid it. To avoid damage.
Nice single rupee on the first logical check you could make.
Bressingham going to be headed to Billy Mays. Has only 4 power bombs, so I think he still has enough to go check shaft supers since he has normal bombs, but because I believe you need 3 in order to check shaft supers.
Yeah, at minimum you need 1 to be able to get in the door. I think actually he's probably better than that. I think you only need the 1. Well, because of the morphball bombs.
Oh, that's true.
So
I'm so
we're
used to
good
not
on
having
bombs.
morphball bombs that I just always assume you have to use power bombs to get back there.
Yeah, since when do you get morphball and bombs literally right after each other? That's a very interesting start to this combo randomizer seed.
Billy Mays sells us 1 arrow today.
For the low, low price of $19.95.
So expansion pack to go with it.
At least he's giving you useful missiles to go with that 1 useless missile without a bow. Better to get him there than, 500 rupees from Zora.
Chat is mentioning it's like early morph bombs and Moon Pearl free seed. It's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, so
as
far
always,
really opened up.
As always, it's free until it isn't, which is a very true statement for one of these. So. Just doing some nice simple checks. Free until the Ice Rod hunt. Although with 3 pendants in Dark World, maybe we won't need that Ice Rod after all.
So what I'd be more worried about for Bressingham here would be his energy count more than the ability to check this with any bombs. So he's going to give a look at what's up here.
And while a full heart, you don't really say no to that. He's going to say no to this one.
Yeah, definitely not worth the price of your life here, because those spikes in the upcoming room after you pick up that fire container, they do along the lines of 60 damage.
60 damage without parry, I guess.
That's pretty painful. So you can pick it up, but you're not getting out.
You just need to farm up to, 11 power bombs and Crystal Flash, right?
Sure, why not? Well, I'm thinking about it this way, though, actually, is I could see someone being crazy enough to infinite horizontal bomb jump their way out of that room. It would be so slow.
Terrific, about to see what Billy Mays is selling him. He's not going to like it.
Just 1 more to add to the stick collection, I suppose. All right, so Bressingham is going to show us some long forgotten content.
Bomb Trees is going to wake up for 3 bombs? Is that Fritz Manila bombs?
3 bomb Teresa, why not? All right, this is honestly, it's the first boss fight you have in the game, and it is absolutely a joke. With only, 500 HP, he's done.
Don't consider Ridley a boss fight? It is, but it isn't.
So, faced with an interesting decision, you can go over to wrecked ship with these 2 E-tanks and a pretty good amount of missiles for Phantom, but suitless, so it'd have to be a pretty sharp fight.
So, with my not so good skill level, I probably wouldn't go to wreck ship yet if I didn't have to. These players are good enough to do so if they want to, but I would probably go ahead and just go ahead and do red tower first into create, and then see what my options are. Terrific. Going to get this heart container. He can take 2 bops here. Only takes 1, so.
I think he had a little bit more energy getting 2 Shaft Supers, so that ended up being safer of a play for him.
He was basically at full health at the time, so.
So this will be interesting to see whether or not we have pressing him going over to wreck ship, or if he's just going to take. Yeah, he's setting up for it. Just misses the ocean fly, but gets the mode skip with the speed booster, which is fine.
I'm not certain he would have had enough energy for full ocean fly anyway.
You probably would have gotten most of the way across, but then you have no energy for Fantoon, and that's just a risky proposition. Oh, hello, grappling beam.
Yay for early grappling beam. Say hello to Shaq Tool later, maybe?
You know,
Yeah, probably not.
That's why we call it the Shaq Tool Key. I mean, we already have plasma for the plasma beam room, so.
Oh no! Falls into the water. Grapple beam does not fire. Hits a long way back when you fall near the end.
This room is absolutely painful to go through West Ocean suitless. Well, it's intended. Honestly, these grappling points for the vanilla game are circumventable, but not easy to do unless you're really good at the platforming in this game.
And speed booster messing with your jump height doesn't help much at all. Now we'll see if Nidourific follows on the way to wreck ship or decides to go down Red Tower.
Sure looks like he's going to follow that path. We saw Spooky Missile's got an upgrade today. So we have a very healthy super count already.
Following the wreck ship. It doesn't make sense, you know. So glad the spikes have no power. But they're still spikes. Shouldn't they still hurt? Even just a little bit. Anyway, a Fantoon fight. Going for 4 missiles into a charged plasma shot. For the strategy today.
That charged plasma is going to do 450 damage, which is 4.5 missiles. Pretty good. Going to chop some time off if you don't have consistent Dopplering skills. Of course, Fantoon could also troll us here with some of the motions that he does, such as the rhythm of his attack pattern. Right now, we are seeing a slow and cautiously waiting until Fantoon was near death to pump that last super missile into him. As we mentioned before, super missile will do double damage to Fantoon. However, we'll put him in a rage state where he attacks you with 8 waves of those blue flames. And in that moment, you're under siege and can't attack back.
And that was a fantastic fight. Very well done. A nice cozy 3 cycle.
We'll point out that 33.5 minutes, that is our first dungeon or otherwise boss done from either game for these runners, and it's a pretty decent pace to have wreck ship basically full clearable at the 30-minute mark.
We'll see how Nidourific does on his Fantoon fight. ended up taking a lot of damage and didn't dish out very much in return that first cycle.
Yeah, Fantu not playing very nice with his swoops either. Goes and becomes intangible just off screen, so I think if we can get that charge shot in. And getting kind of low here. The charge beam does give us a little bit of extra safety with the ability to pseudo screw through these flames in an invulnerable state. But now we're seeing that one-hit KO.
Set up a crystal flash.
Crystal flash. Oof.
Sometimes hard to find time to be able to pull that off if you get unlucky, but...
Speaking of things that can be unlucky, we had Bressingham take a little bit of fall in the aptly named Spike Beam of Death. If he had managed to KO on one of those platforms, he would have been quite literally dead.
Just some missiles for his problems, which he immediately resets out of. And that was a closer fight than Nito wanted, but getting through it with 2 E-tanks safely, he'll be fine with that.
Now, so far, this wreck ship play hasn't seemed to show us anything on Bressingham's side. We do have a couple other checks up here first. We do have this attic missile we have to have a look at, and then we'll have the sky missile, the middle ocean, and of course the gravity and reserve locations. So 5 more checks we can make here. He did miss one of these atomics and has to go back for it, though. And this is the kill room, so every time, unless you open these doors, they will remain sealed until you kill every enemy in the room.
And they're one of the most annoying checks, because the worker robot's just like getting in the way, usually just guarding a piece of heart or $20.
How would you like to find a hookshot here today?
That would be pretty fine.
More supers.
It's not a hook shot, but it's still not horrible.
We have seen more than half of this randomizer's pool of super missiles, and we're only 37 minutes in. Wow.
And pressing him down to 89 health again, so may need to farm a little bit of health before going and checking the Trezo room. Fortunately, heart pieces do not refill Samus's health. It actually wouldn't surprise me too much if Bressingham actually takes a little bit of damage on purpose and Crystal Flashes here. But looks like he's just going to farm up some energy instead.
I think Bressingham knows how to short charge into a Shine Spark in Bowling Alley. So this might be setting up for that, or it's just a little safety.
I believe these spikes also do 60 damage, so if you do miss the short charge here, you're going to get bopped at least once. Well, you have grapple, so you can do it the actual intended way to get through this room. Not something you see every day. Having not done enough seedless recently, it's like I always, it's like, well, you never end up getting grapple or bombs or any of those nice luxury items like that.
a lot of times you see grapple and you're like, well, this is nice, and it tells me some things logically, but it doesn't necessarily give me stuff to do here. Just because the platforming and a lot of the areas that you can access with it are otherwise easier to get to with other items. Except for in the case of, say, Shackle. Oh, hello, Glove.
Anyone? So wreck ship wasn't the bust after all. Close to being the bust, but not quite. Although just the glove really doesn't do much. You would still need hammer or mitts for it to really do anything. It does open up the back of escape for Bressingham, but we all know that is junk due to Nidorific's out of logic check earlier.
It is going to add up to a small time save because he'll be able to deduce that the map is at Dark Cross and he'll never have to go back.
We'll get a first peek at Red Tower.
And Chap pointing out what everybody loves to hear, that glove does put Zora into logic.
Oh, checking Zora with just glove is terrible. Although they do have Moon Pearl, so if they do check Zora, I would expect our runners to do Waterfall and Hobo and those checks out of logic.
And that is a Master Sword for Bressingham, which is going to be super nice for Nito because he's going to be picking up Tempered when he gets there.
And unless Bressingham starts last locationing things, I don't see him going to Ice Rod Cave anytime soon. Here we have a book and a Titan's Mitt. Oh.
And just like that, we have Dark World access at the 42-minute mark.
Very, very nice. And unless Bressingham finds a Varia suit or a gravity suit, very quickly, he's going to be headed back to A Link to the Past, straight to the Dark World, most likely. And I would, of course, expect Nidorific to be right on his heels.
Oh, don't sketch me like this, Bressingham.
This room's a little bit scary with just 126 energy now. Each of these spikes do 60 damage, so...
That was a clutch deboost off the waiver, though, I will say that. Chad is pointing us out something else that we should probably be keeping in mind here. We also have access to the Meyer area with the mitts and the flute.
We do already know that Meyer is a pendant, but that's still 2 checks at the time. Don't have mirrors, so you can't go check what's on in Desert or in Checkerboard Cave yet.
Those 2 checks in Meyer Shed could still be important, and while we can't get into Meyer, seeing that it is Quake might be putting a little bit of a thought into our runners' heads here.
If it's Quake.
If it's Quake.
I think Bressingham thought for a split second on whether they should go and get their energy refilled, but decided against it. Terrific. Going ahead and doing a what I would guess is a safety save. He knows how dangerous X-ray room is, and he's done a lot of stuff without saving, and so is Bressingham. So
yes, but luckily we'll be able to have a quick save soon, because I would imagine our runners are going to do trade and go check out Business Center and probably see what you can discern on the couple checks you can make on the mountain.
probably rescue an old man out of logic for a warp point. Even though they have fleet.
So to answer a question in chat, we are playing on normal Super Metroid difficulty that does not expect hell runs at all. The Varia suit is required for heated runes and Norfair. The Gravity suit is required for Wet Meridia.
It wouldn't be unheard of to see either of these runners do Norfair without Varia or Meridia without Gravity if that was the only thing they had left. But I wouldn't expect to see that sort of out of logic play in this seed.
Especially not with the health pool as it is. I believe we're at 2+2, which on hard is the minimum to do the Bubble Mountain Hell Run, and we don't really want to go down that train just yet. And speaking of going down, there goes Grade with a quick kill from Bressingham. Very nice. And there went our third reserve tank as well, so...
And with that, that's 2 Super Metroid bosses down. And 1 Business Center away from going and doing a bunch of A Link to the Past.
And there is a bunch of A Link to the Past available right now. And there's some more health for Link to the Past as well, so that'll make that a little bit more comfortable when we get there. When we do, however, jump into Link to the Past, I think our runners are going to be looking for a few choice things. First off, you're going to want a hammer, because that hammer is going to make getting around to the portals that take you from the light world to the dark world a lot easier, in addition to being required for a number of our dungeons to begin with. Second, you're going to want to find out where your boots are, because that mirror could be required.
Be required for Swamp Palace. I was half expecting High Jump to be the boots, since we were talking about them.
Yeah, and chat pointing out a couple other items you might want to find. You know, the boots will unlock the mirror, as we know. The hook shot would be pretty nice to have, as it gives us East Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain. It's a nice set of checks for us there. And we don't know if we need it or not yet, but that Canyon of Samaria showing up could be telling us something as well.
Have a trade fight for Nidourific. We'll see if he can afford the DLC. First thing Bressingham is going to do is rescue an old man in the dark, because he forgot his lamp. And you did too.
What's a lamp?
It's a fire source that you might actually need to, you know, light up some torches that are blocking the path in places like the Desert Palace.
Yeah, any fire source would be great, especially when you have, you know, a fire weapon like Bombos or a fire rod would be great for Ice Palace if that becomes something to consider. You know, the lamp for any dark room, to put that in logic. Fire rod for, you know, as mentioned, areas like Mire or Desert.
And the old man was holding an E-Tank. A little bit late, but still a lot of Super Metroid to go.
I don't think that's something you pass up on, knowing you're only on 2 energy tanks and a bunch of reserves.
With charge and plasma available, you probably shoot for at least 7 to go for a stand-up glitch at the very end.
So Chad is asking where Sword 3 was. It is the Master Sword Bressingham picked up was the Tempered Sword Dino picked up. It was in the beta power bombs with the giant side hoppers at the top of Red Tower.
And as a reminder, the other 2 swords we know about are Ice Rod Cave, which Bressingham has not picked up yet, and then I forget the official name of it, but under the Crumbling Bridge in Greenbrick.
Pretty sure we just call it early supers thanks to how the speedrun has normalized getting that item early.
Fair enough. Bressingham getting his back of escape play out of the way, and
This looks
going
like a
to check
shovel
out that shovel.
Yeah, this is an interesting call. It is something you can just flute away from, no problem. So, knowing that you won't have the mirror until you have boots, you don't want to think about trying to route this in with, say, a smith chain, because that is open for us as well.
Just getting it out of the way is not a bad play at all, because this is as good a time as any to do it.
And Nito's going to have that added benefit of just being able to flute out of Spectacle Rock Cave, because he's already seen the back of escape.
Bressingham now has Zora money. Although I seriously doubt he'll be headed there anytime soon.
There's our Dark World map check. We do have a requirement for that mirror because Swamp is their other 5/6 crystal.
But Turtle Rock and Ice Palace are the other 2 pendants.
Could we be looking at a canyonless seed error?
We could be. I didn't get a good peek at what the medallion requirement was. Sorry, Bressingham, you cannot delete blocks with the flute.
The required medallion for Meyer was Booters, so even if we had boots or a hookshot, we're not going in. God, you gotta go back and get those, right?
Well then, I would immediately, after we check and see what's at Screw Attack.
Yeah, he's going to go straight to what's going on down here. It's a good amount of information to just have a look.
$50. Getting back to Link to the Past for what I would assume is a save and quit. And then probably first order of business is to pick up that mirror.
I would say so. That mirror is going to open up a bunch, including that smith chain. Although you do orphan hammer pegs and magic bat here. And so you have the ability to check them later.
Terrific doing the same Screw Attack play.
I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of these two come up here and have a look at what's going on. 10 arrows, so Space Jump is not showing us anything here. He'll probably just take the, oh, he's not, is he going to be able to get up there to see it?
Nope.
Chat giving us something to think about. Where are the suits? That is a good question.
Well, at this point, my best guess, I'm going to call Varia's and Hype Cave. Actually be hyped for once. After all, I did say there's going to be a jet seat at the beginning, and I have seen nothing to tell me otherwise.
Meanwhile, Chat has the exact opposite idea. One's going to be on Trinex, of course.
Oh.
Pendant Trinex, that would be kind of gross. We're still a few items away from even thinking about that right now, so let's hold our horses here.
But more than a few. We need cane, fire and ice rods, and one of hookshot or hammer. To even think about going into Turtle Rock, and then maybe you need a medallion on top of it.
I'd say you need hammer more than hookshot either way here, because we do have the ability to go up to Hera.
I think with so many like efficient overworld checks still in play, I doubt they go to Hera quite yet.
Yeah, there's not too much you can do on the mountain without at least the hammer or a hookshot. Of course, if you get the hookshot, you're talking about doing everything except TR. If you get the hammer, you're talking about being able to possibly do everything except hookshot game.
And
depending on where these items show up.
And then there's no guarantee you can even logically complete Hera because Big Key could always be locked in the basement, and we don't have a fire source yet. Although
I didn't see anything of note coming out of Skull Woods for Bressingham there either.
Other than the ice rod, I think. Was that the ice? That was the ice rod in Skull Woods, correct?
Oh my goodness! So Cape is
Oh, need
and
Cape.
we now know another fetch quest, item fetch chain that we need to go through here. Let's be Bressingham's look at what is waiting for us on the Lumberjack. We know it's $20.
Any terrific confirming that was indeed the ice rod.
Sad part is that Ice Rod could still be progression.
And chat is hoping so, and our runners are most definitely not. Bonk rocks are $20. Hope to see a Graveyard Ledge in the King's Tomb play coming up. Neaterific's about to get his second item out of Skull and does a little bit more efficient route out of here.
So we see all these boots and mirror checks kind of lumped together as we have a look at Graveyard Ledge already, and King's Tomb is waiting there as well. And that, I believe, is his 50th super missile.
On a seed where we had charge and plasma at like the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, offensively,
all the supers.
We are absolutely in glass cannon mode right now.
No tunic upgrades.
Yeah, no tunic upgrades, no safeties, no suits.
But silver arrows and King's Tomb.
Yeah, too bad there's not much you can do with those without a bow.
True, but you don't say no to silver arrows.
Oh, heck no. Silver arrows are probably one of the better things you can actually hope to find before the bow, because when you do find that bow, it's going to make your endgame so much more comfortable.
Technically, logically required to. because I don't believe a lot. But anyway,
So we're going to see those Village of Outcasts checks from Bressingham. I would not be surprised to see that Nita will do very much the same here. They've kind of been in lockstep this entire hour. But these two runners have been showing us some clean movement and a lot of fun stuff, so make sure you give them a follow.
I was wondering if Bressingham would go into Thieves Town without the hammer. And he juked me by opening it up. He still might go in. He's just getting it out of the way.
You might be looking for the hammer just in case you feel that you don't want to orphan something in that big chest location. It could just be that the items are all in the front though, so this could work out for if he decides to just hop right in. For all you know, Thieves Town may have your hammer.
It could. The Bressingham's just going to go in. He's just finishing up the overworld Village of Outcast checks. I feel like I'm talking about Bressingham a lot, but that's just because Niterific is about 5 items behind him.
Yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot to be having a look at here. It's been a lot of one player does thing, couple seconds later.
Although I would expect to see if they continue doing the same things now that Bressingham's in a dungeon. Niterific with that tempered is a nice advantage to have.
Oh no, the Cane of Samaria.
It's okay. Pinky's going to be on the right side anyway for
And
Daniel's
Nito's
Tower.
going to give Thieves Town a pass.
There's still a lot of efficient overworld checks, so I'm not too unsurprised by this play. Going into Thieves without hammer is always a little bit of a risk.
And especially now as we do see that Bressingham did pick up the key in front. So if this is something important, it might be a while before he comes back. It's not really a high chance that it is, but it could still happen.
Niterific thinking about his Zora money and trying to get a little bit, get his money back out of digging game.
Now, I shouted out the runners. I am going to take this moment to shout out our tracker for tonight. Raylan Tank here has been pressing all the same buttons, and finally we have some divergence, so maybe we'll see something that we can have a look at. And of course, pleasure to work with you, Error.
Pleasure to work with you too. Gonna take the Smith back. Maybe they'll let Niterific have one of the hammers.
Maybe. Can you hammer a hammer? Just ask.
It doesn't stop them occasionally from doing so. Just don't take their jumps. The Smiths actually have special text if you use the hammer on their forge.
Well, they're hammering futuristic energy today, which is rather interesting. Now, the thing with this check is it does orphan, rather not really orphan, but isolate the hammer peg location until we have that hammer. Oh, now we're talking. This is big for Bressingham.
That is pretty good. I haven't seen whether he's got the compass yet, though. I don't know whether there's an item in the big chest guaranteed or not yet. But we got a blind fight. Always deserves to die for bad puns.
Nita was thinking about whether or not to leave those 20 rupees there. I think we might see a Catfish to Zora play.
Bressingham, blind, got the better of him.
That's rather unfortunate because now for Bressingham, and we see he's only got 7 hearts, so that was a tough non-scripted fight to have to redo now because Mind only has that scripted little set of patterns when you first encounter him.
It's certainly a lot harder to go back and do the blind fight again. And Bressingham, forgetting that he doesn't have any bottles yet. That is an ether medallion locked in the purple chest. Going to get a bombos check too.
Yeah, this is getting rather interesting in these divergent paths here now, with the Cane known on Bressingham's side and the Ether known on Nito's side, and Meyer accessible with the boots. Could we be looking at a possible hammer in Meyer with a fire source later?
Can be Meyer, but with Meyer being just a pendant, I don't see Bressingham going there anytime soon. It is the green pendant, so it is one extra item, but that's a pretty expensive time-wise check for 3 items.
And especially on the equipment Bressingham is currently sporting, 7 hearts, green mail, and master sword. No easy way to actually kill Vitreous. Not to mention, without a lamp, that's a dark traversal out of logic to begin with. And Hype Cave having, that's okay. Those are boots.
High jump boots are kind of nice, but I'm going to still give it about a 3 out of 10. It's a nice to have, but kind of eh. I wouldn't be too surprised if Bressingham goes and finishes up oh my gosh, Skullwards relatively soon, because that would be an opportune time to get a head check.
I'm looking right now at what Nito is doing. It looks like he wants to have a gander at what's going on in Desert.
You can't full clear Desert because he doesn't have a fire source. Has not been in Thieves Town yet.
Yes, this could bite if you're looking for a fire source to clear a dungeon. The fire source is locking the hammer that you're looking for to go get the only known fire source in the dungeon you're trying to avoid.
Bressingham doing his loop.
The other thing that Nito doesn't have yet is that cane, I believe, was in the front of the TAT as well.
That's correct.
So that'll push him away from possibly diving Meyer.
And Stumpy has a mushroom. So have a witch check relatively soon, I would guess.
Yeah, as chat was pointing out earlier, something I thought he might consider doing, Nito could have taken that mushroom up towards Catfish into Zora, but we did not see that.
Get the second item out of here. No.
Ooh, second item is on the boss.
You'll probably see a checkerboard cave into a Gina check right after this.
See, and after that, where do we go?
Well, Meteorific's options would be...
Oh, never mind.
Meteorific is going to Thieves Town after this.
Oh, that is a great find for Nito.
It has to be a Gina check first, but I would be very surprised if he does anything other than Thieves Town.
What's also great about that is he's going to be able to go back to Keg Cave. He knows the second item's on Desert. He doesn't have to go slogging around looking for stuff when he comes back. And again, might push him away from Meyer.
How about that, little bit of logic routing there, in that you had Boots in Meyer's shed to get the mirror on the library in order to use that mirror to go to Checkerboard Cave.
And I think this is actually a pretty good call, because he's going to follow that hammer straight up the mountain.
All right, so I'm wrong. I thought he would go to Thieves Town first.
I feel like he feels like Thieves Town is way too easy to get back to at any given time with that flute. But Paradox Cave is just a chunk of items here for our runners.
That's true. Would also get the ether tablet out of the way as well.
A pretty good shot of Hera being completable if the big key is available.
I think you could do Hera Pot with just bombs as well. I don't think you need the hook shot for that.
Oh no, you need the hook shot for Hera Pot no matter what you're doing.
Okay.
So I would say he goes in, and if he can't finish it, he just mirrors out and comes back later. This could end up being our Go Mode dungeon later on.
Just the reserve tank.
Oh, that's not a good sign. And it's okay. So now the only thing you're really worried about is whether or not you will be leaving an item in the basement. And with 316 total checks in the pool, it's probably not as bad here.
It's still one of those places that feels bad to orphan if it has an item.
The chat says, scary to isolate the basement. It's not really hard isolating when you still have Spike Cave to think about later on. It is out of the way, though.
Might also want to head back up here due to... if he doesn't get a hook shot, may have to come back to the hook shot cave.
There's a positive sign, is the first item in the big chest is an E-Tank, so our Super Metroid health situation has been resolved. Now, what you don't want to see here is a small key on Moldorm.
What's your chat, folks? Worst scene possible, pretty. It's still been a pretty good scene so far.
Well, so far, I think it hasn't really been too linear. There's a lot of stuff to do and a lot of places to do it in. Now you've got Spike Cave with that key in Burma.
And Hera Basement is not required, as the small key is locked down there, never to be taken. Pressingham is going to show us what's on the boss.
That he is, because with that fire rod, he can just go ahead and finish Desert right now. Oh, look at what that is! That's huge!
It's a wetsuit from the future.
Anybody up for some scuba diving? Dragon is already in logic for us here.
And ether for Turtle Rock, so...
This also good for Nito, not having Fire Rod or Kane and Samaria. He gets to dodge this dive as well. We don't know if it's beneficial or not until later on, but for now, you're not worried about going into TR.
Where was Fire Rod? Fire Rod was in the Maiden Cell in Thieves Town. Quote Maiden. And then Mola's taken down efficiently for $20 and a crystal.
And at an hour 14, that is our first crystal for Bressingham. We already saw Moldorm just a few minutes earlier. So we're knotted up at 1-1 and 2-2 on the Super Metroid bosses, but I would say advantage Nito here until Bressingham goes to the mountain.
Well, Bressingham's about to get a hammer, in which may end up going to the mountain sooner rather than later. A Bressinghammer. And there's
There's
gravity
one.
suit.
So now we just need to wonder about where the various suit's going to turn up. And Nito is going to be able to go down Paradox Cave, well, rather go up Paradox Cave after Spiral, and save and quit out of Spike Cave. That's pretty nice.
It is a pretty low health situation for Spike Cave, but with half magic, won't be a problem.
Yeah, we did get that Can of Burna on Moldorm, which puts it in the logic anyway. And Bressingham giving us a little exposition as to why we call it Fart Cave.
There's a little bit too much information.
All right, here's 7 more checks from Nito here, and Bressingham is going to join us up on the mountain. So now it's kind of flipped a little bit. First we were waiting to see if Bressingham would wait on the mountain at all, and now we're going to wait and see when Nito takes that dive into Thieves Town. Oh my goodness. A loaded Paradox Cave for our runners. There's one thing still missing.
Are you going to say Bo or are you going to say Varia?
I was going to say Cave because we know that the flippers are required for Swamp Palace. We know where the flippers are, and we currently cannot access them.
Immediately going to finish up Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, this works out real nice here. And that does mean that Hammer hard gates the hookshot as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there was anything special in here.
And then you call it on the way to Spike Cave. Most likely.
Yeah, this is a good piece of routing. Be able to clear everything on the mountain except for Thieves Town, Turtle Rock. Turtle Town.
And it would surprise me if Bressingham goes into Pendant Turtle Rock with what he's about to find up on the mountain. Unless you wanted to just take that gamble.
I mean, knowing that it is full clearable here. It is 6 chunk items. You might think about it. I don't know if it'd be a good call.
I'd say you think about it and then you decide against it because you just got Gravity Suit.
Yeah, it's way too early to really rely on the TR dive giving us anything we need with so much else that just opened up. And we are going to see some Meridia action out of Nidorific with that Gravity Suit.
And as you said, everything in Meridia is clearable. Have everything you need to get the Shack Tool. Have everything you need to clear the Plasma Beam room. Not that you want to go to either of those places, but... So what do we still need for go mode? We still need bow and cape to get the flippers and Varia suit. And is that all we're missing?
For logical go, that's what it looks like, honestly. This fast, that's a lot of information that just came at us. Yet I think ammo just gets plain skipped at this point with 60 supers in tow.
Unless the supers are just right in the way.
Nato thinking he might want to pick up that E-Tank. I'm not sure, at this point with 7. Maybe? He's going to give it a pass. No, he's what? Is he setting up for the short charge here? Starter short charge, yep. We talk about stand-up glitch on Mother Brain. 7 is the magic number. Of course, at that point, the fight has to be near perfect, or you'll be you'll refill off of reserves to be able to stand up during that cutscene. In this particular instance, it's just it feels like cushion, but without any of these environmental damages, it's still gonna hurt.
And as a change to this particular randomizer, a lot of the damage reduction that was on gravity did get moved to the Varia suit. So, as well as the heat resistance, because I believe in vanilla, gravity suit actually resists heat as well. You don't need the actual Varia suit.
So I just had an interesting thought looking at our ammo count situation. Could Nito be planning on doing a various lower Norfair, or maybe even just some hell runs?
I know I talked about that potential earlier, but if he gets that cape plus bow before Varia, then yes, he probably would do Varia-less lower Norfair. I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah, well, not really something that we ever consider in logic for SMZ3. It's not something our runners would really put off the table if you end up with a high energy pool like this and a strong amount of ammunition to back up your crystal flashes.
And at 1 hour and 22 minutes in, we finally have the first bottle.
I still feel like you might skip on checking Stick Kid for a little bit here. He's easy to get back to. You might want to round him up with, Nito's going to be able to do that with Thieves Town and Skull Woods and Hammer Peg, so that's great for him.
Right.
No, don't pick it up.
You came close, Terrific. You came close.
He looked at it, and I think he just kind of like, wait, nope, don't want that.
His momentum almost took him too far.
So I think we're going to see some sand pits here. Do you think you might go check out Shack Tool?
It depends on how he's feeling.
Yeah, I feel like it might be a little slow to do Shack Tool right now, but if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it sort of play?
If he was going to check it, he'd do it right now.
Right, because you would go down the right
otherwise he's going to skip until he last locations it. And does look like we're going to get that Shack Tool check. Although getting the Shack Tool with high jump is, I find, annoying a lot of times, but
now you might find it annoying, but you made it look easy. Everybody's favorite digging robot on the right side of the screen. The question that sits on our minds right now is, does Shack Tool live?
I'm going to say yes, because the likelihood of this being a required item is extremely low. In which Nito would just reset out. He's not going to take the time to go kill Shaq if this is nothing. I seriously doubt he's going to keep that one E-Tank, even if he is planning on doing a hell run.
It all depends on what's sitting here on where the Spring Balls vanilla location would be. It's our second bottle!
Insert the Price is Right losing horn sound. Not the worst item to ever be a check tool, but no.
And it looks like he's going to save that left sand pit for after he's taken care of Dragon, which is a call I like.
I do like that bit of routing to save a second
You
sand
can
pit.
route that right in with Plasma as well.
Yes. Have a bot wound. Which is going to have a bad day because bot wound does not like plasma.
He might be an eel, but he's no electric eel, that's for sure. I see chat mentioning, yeah, that bottle is definitely better than the single arrow of destiny or a Greg. We have seen, I believe, both of them. Well, we've seen one of the Gregs. I think we've seen the arrow already as well.
The arrow was a Billy Mays, and yes, we've seen one of the two single rupees.
And of all places for it to be, it was on the morph pedestal. Botmoon, absolutely free fight with that plasma and charge beam in tow.
Just a heart after bot wound.
We saw Nito setting up for that full half. He just frames short. So now we get to do this room the old-fashioned way.
But not the intended way still, because you're using wall jumping instead of the grapple beam. Doing this room with grapple beam as a kid was not the most fun of times.
Yes, but leaving this room with space jump always felt so good.
Indeed it did.
Precious bombs, huh? Okay.
Gotta leave Drake on his blueberries. It's a secret stash.
So Nito's got a few options here. With Speed Booster, he can go for that and get some Shine Sparks off on Dragon. You've got plenty of ammo to do an old-fashioned ammo kill. You got the grapple if you like some fried shrimp. Looks like he's going to favor the Shine Spark method here. And I wish I could short charge that well.
I've gotten a little bit better at it, but even when I get it in Dragon, headed up to the ceiling is often how it ends up.
We've got grapple selected on the menu, so that is probably the mode that we're going to use here.
It just misses the quick grapple. He is going to take a lot of damage here without Varia.
Yeah,
Rescam also pixels away from picking up Spazer, but successfully avoids it.
Watch this drain. Oh boy. Yeah, the plugging into that socket is considered environmental damage, so that would have been reduced to one E-tank, or half an E-tank rather, if we had Varia. Instead, it's a full 2.
Ressingham checking his first sand pit.
Now, Nito will probably Shine Spark out of here then. Oh, just a good old Speed Booster jump. That works too.
getting the Shack Tool check for Bressingham too.
So it's interesting with the diversion paths these runners have taken, they basically traded places. Right now the advantage is still on Bressingham. We're having that Fire Rod in Thieves Town, something that Nito is going to have to go back and do. But having not taken care of Skull Woods, Bressingham's still going to have to go back to Village of Outcasts at some point anyway.
And Bressingham has to finish up Thieves Town too, because Blind did him in the first time.
Yeah, Blind did him a dirty, so that's something that's just going to have to be refought.
He doesn't like playing with Shack Tool as he's doing his business. Bressing will not be killing Shack because I would be very surprised if he didn't reset out of here. It would have been more interesting to see what if they would have kept it if that had been the first bottle.
Yeah, that first bottle, you don't pick up another one if you don't feel like you need it. So Shack Tool was going to live no matter what on this day. At least on the restream. There are 18 other runners in the background that may have decided to put him out of his misery of that existence of being just a digging robot. There's the cape.
There's Cape. Is this stereo? Well, that's one of our go mode items out of the way because that is now a accessible cape. Not cape, accessible flippers.
So that means the items we're looking for at this point are going to be the bow and the Varia suit.
And these two runners are good enough to do hell runs, so maybe they're just looking for a bow.
I do see chat saying Varia for no mode. Well, we do need the bow logically. We also need the bow kind of, sort of, to get to our two eastern side of the world bosses. So even though we might see some shenanigans for non-bow seeds from some of the runners, ain't no Mimic clipping up GT today.
And of course, Nidorific's still missing all of the goodies in Thieves Town, so he still needs a couple more items before he probably even considers hell running warfare.
I would almost say finding a bow first means you go do pod in Eastern before you even consider hell runs, just because you can knock them out quickly with the flute. They're both required crystals. They're both rather easy to just take care of. Pod's got a pretty decent chunk of items within it as well, with, I believe, 5.
Sure. But Bressingham getting a bow after getting that cape would, I would guess, consider treating himself in go mode, potentially.
Probably. I would think the same for Nito in this case as well, along with a few other runners that are in the background here. Nito opting to, after the plasma check, which I didn't see was anything of note here.
$20.
He is headed back to Link to the Past, and I would gander that he's probably headed back to Village of Outcasts with a quick mirror and flute.
Thought he might go pick up that ice beam, but
you would have to fake Flipper to even have a shot at it, and you can't mirror from
that's
fake
true.
Flipper.
Just because we have cape doesn't mean we have flippers yet.
So yeah, right now I think we can all agree that the item that we're really searching for is a bow.
Nidourific might just go ahead and take care of Thieves Town before picking up the flippers, but
I think that Bumper Ledge is just isolated enough. You just take care of it and then go back.
that's fair. And yes, Bo or Varia could be on Pet. Although if you see Varia on Pet, it wouldn't surprise me if Nidourific goes ahead and does Thieves Town right after this, and then immediately turns that into clearing Skull Woods and getting a pet check right then and there. But I'm clearly mistaken as he leaves and pulls out his flute.
This is just a quick reset back to Village, or Kakariko, rather. He's going to check the bottle.
Bressingham using some great routing to get his tempered. Ice Beam is on Lake Hylia Island.
So this is going to be the Swamp Palace play for a Nidourific. That's interesting. And I say that's interesting. What I mean to say is that is very interesting because it seems like he's just definitely not interested in Thieves Town at the moment, which is surprising to me considering how early it's available.
You'll also see some runners basically chase logic based on the items they just got. So he's been basically following whatever items he got. He just got his flippers, so he's chasing the flippers into Swamp Palace. If that made any sense whatsoever.
It did. He's just chasing the immediate progression and not going back up the chain. It's interesting only because, from a viewer's standpoint, we do know that Fire Rod that is required out of Thieves Town is going to be a quick 1-2 punch for Nido when he does go down into the basement of Thieves Town to emerge victorious on Blind and go take care of Skull Woods immediately following. So this is actually a pretty good set of checks for us as viewers because that's going to give us a little bit more information onto where our progression may be lying afterward. And in addition to that, we both already know the items are out of Skull Woods have been found, so you literally just go in back and take care of them off when you get there.
And if Swamp Palace ends up being a bust, then maybe you finally go back to Thieves Town. Or you chase those flippers up to all of the Zora checks. Because I don't think either of our runners have done any of those out of logic.
Yeah, chat pointing that out right now. Picking up Ice Beam on the Hylia Island and then going straight into flipper checks actually makes a lot of sense here. Now, you're guaranteed an item on left side swamp. Let's see if he decides to go for it. I would say that's a yes.
If maybe Bo and Varia were the only things Nidourific was missing, maybe you consider skipping left side, but I do like the strat that Nidourific's going for here, going for the bomb version of Diving Down. Gets first try. And I'm not even going to try and explain how flipping the switch works, but
something off-screen cached bomb explosion something.
Either way, it looks cool when it works, and it saves a couple of screen transitions.
Would you love just picking up the compass there?
Oh, it's always fun when it's compass and map over here on left side. It was almost just as bad. Let's see where Bressingham decides to head off to. After immediately getting flippers.
It'll be interesting to see whether or not he chooses to make the same play here.
It is always annoying when the Swamp Palace big key is in the back half of Swamp Palace. But I guess at least it wasn't on the boss. Although returning for missiles doesn't.
Yeah, that can't feel too good. You don't want to have to come back in and find out it's an item or just leave it on accident and orphan your progression, but coming back for missiles, yeah. I have plenty of those. In fact, I have plenty of the upgraded version of those.
All right, Bressingham coming to get revenge on Blind. And with the blue cane, no matter how badly this fight could potentially go, this fight's going to be free and a cape.
And we find out there is an item in that big chest as Blind was only holding the compass.
I need to go back in immediately for it.
I think this late in the game, in the race, you orphan that. That becomes a new last location spot for you. And Bressingham is proving me right because he has no intention of stepping back into Thieves Town.
Poor Argus here. Boss was not designed with tempered sword in mind.
Wow, that's
Wave
pretty
beam.
nice. So we're going to have a full beam combo here if Nito decides to go pick up that ice beam.
Get the hammer peg check. We don't have powder yet. We did already turn in our mushroom, though, I think, so.
Yeah, we saw a mushroom for Bressingham. I believe it was a reserve tank.
And are we getting that ice beam? That's going to be a yes in about 5 seconds.
And that's great. That's full stand-up power for Nitorific, and also the ice beam on its own makes your Turian considerably faster.
And chat called it. Going straight into the Zora checks.
Well, this looks more like a hobo into... Yeah, this will be Hobo Pyramid Catfish Zora. This is pretty neat.
Hobo in the pod is a possibility.
I don't think you go into pod here with the flute and the ability to get there quickly. I think you have to take your isolated route first.
The route I saw in chat that seems pretty good is, check Pyramid, check Catfish, and then Mirror and check Waterfall and Zora.
Yeah, that's what I would do here as well. Also, a big shout out to 39 raiders from our main channel over at Speed Gaming. You're joining us on A Link to the Past and Super Metroid Combo Randomizer's weekly community race. This is a tilt that we're showing on stream between Bressingham and Neorific. 18 other runners in the background still playing around with two of Super Nintendo's finest titles.
Neorific is taking care of some Overworld. Bressingham going to finish off Skull Woods.
Actually, this works out for Nito here as well because he has not yet checked the mushroom. Of course, we know it's nothing really, so.
Except the reserve tank.
The other thing he can do here, though, is he can fill that bottle with some blue goo with that extra money he has on hand. And the reserve tank's going to be nice if he decides to go into Lower Norfair in a bit here. Looks like we're going to give that bottle full a pass, because knowing, he probably feels like he doesn't need it. Speaking of not needing, much of any help with Mothula, there goes the moth for Bressingham. Very quick fashion there.
Another boss not designed with different sorting in mind. What's Catfish holding today?
You're about to throw most of that money at Zora, and you opt not to pick 300 rupees up off Catfish.
They can't wait for that item fanfare. Ped, unfortunately, is dead. Sorry, everyone.
Is he choosing not to go? Yeah, he's going to mirror right back. I'd say you're going to take Zora here. Absolutely end the route at Zora. That space jump is pretty nice to have for going through various Lower Norfair. It's going to make your movement a lot nicer. So now Bressingham is going to make the same swap play here. I imagine he does the full clear here as well.
I'd be surprised if he didn't. Still missing both Varia. So we're running out of locations that we want to check without having to start dipping independent dungeons.
And that set of pendant dungeons is not a very friendly one either. It's the trifecta of 5, 6, 7. With 3, 2, and effectively 6 items. With the Mimic Cave location at Turtle Rock. And it's at this point that Nito is going to 1-2 Thieves Town and Skull Woods. And find out exactly everything that Bressingham already showed us, the cane, the fire rod. We are going to see one extra location, though.
That is the big chest, Thieves Town. And if Bo or Varia is in the big town, is in the big chest, we're not going to feel good for Bressingham.
Yeah, chat's saying it's game over. I wouldn't call it that so much, because things can still go wrong between now and the end of the seed. But with runners of this capability and the movement we've seen, even Variolous Lower Norfair is not going to stop these two. It'll be a question of when would Bressingham go back to Thievestown? When you've got Ice, Meyer, and TR all available.
Checking locations that both players have been in before, so maybe a little bit of a recap is in order.
Sure thing. If you're just joining us late here, we have had an interesting start to the scene, with Kakariko Village spitting out plenty of super missiles, early morph ball bombs, and a moon pearl. We had that lovely 2E tank Phantom, which spit out a glove. And mitts were where exactly?
Mitts were... Gosh. I'm drawing a blank now.
I feel like they were somewhere down Red Tower.
I believe that's the case. I believe, yeah, they were Red Tower. They're the behind the power bomb spot. Because the book was there.
Right, it was book and mints, so things got interesting real fast on this one.
As far as the no mode goes, we've been pretty much in Bow and Varia no mode for quite a while.
We've seen some stuff on the seed, like the mirror being locked on the library, the boots in Meyer shed, the flippers on Bumper Ledge, the cape in Meridia. And at this point, it's down to who makes the call that finds the bow or the various suit first here. Oh my goodness. And just like that, we are in SM Go mode. Nito has Varia, and I would imagine his next protocol after Malthula is going to be Norfair. Because here comes his fire rod.
Probably do Skullwords first while he's here. And then probably immediately go Lower Norfair. Because if you end up finding Bow and Lower Norfair, you get to skip all of Upper Norfair.
Yeah, you would go Lower Norfair first here, especially with that space jump coming out of the screw attack location and straight to Ridley. And that's kind of not something Bressingham's going to be picking up anytime soon, I would imagine.
I'd imagine Bressingham's going to start checking in the dungeons before he comes back for that.
So the biggest thing that would work out for Bressingham in this situation would be if he starts diving independence and finds the bow. You know, also going a little bit off script, having a bit of pinball with the fireballs there from Blind to take care of the fight, and he is going to catch up in crystals here very shortly. Chat saying, could just be Vanilla Bow and Eastern. Unfortunately, we did see Bressingham go and give us all 3 items front-loaded in Eastern Palace. So we're not going to see it there. We haven't seen Palace of Darkness yet. So there's a potential for it to not be Bow locked and Bow being in the back somewhere. It looks like Bressingham's going to do exactly the same as Nito did. Go to Hobo, get his flipper checks out of the way. But it's going to be the ball's in his court now as to where he decides to go next. Because otherwise, we're just seeing some checks that either runner has already made ahead of the other one. Chad is calling for Bow on Magic Bat. Of course, no powder yet, so that would be We had both runners turn in their mushrooms, so that would be the gate for that. Ooh, don't fall in pinball room. He's already been through here, so these doors are unlocked and you can just run back out the front. Powder on Trinex, bow on bat. No, I don't think so. All right, so the Montula for Nitorific is going to be, again, just like we saw Bressingham take care of it, very easy and basically a free fight here. The Divergent play is going to be Nito's going into Lower Norfair for sure after this. He might even clean up Desert first since he didn't have a fire source the first time he was in. For Bressingham, Ice Meeting? I would have to feel like, especially picking up that Bombos medallion here. There's a space jump at a Bombos for Bressingham. Gonna go get scammed by Zora probably. Alrighty, that is Skullwoods down for Nitorific, and the crystals are now 5-4 in Bressingham's favor. Of course, we're going to see that tighten up really quick here in a moment. I would imagine this is going to be him just having a quick look at the pedestal before he flies off, and it is. Alright, so it's decision time for both of these here. And with a flute to 8, here's exactly what I thought was going to happen. You chase the previous progression that you just picked up. And that means Bressingham is going directly into Ice Palace. Meanwhile, Nito is heading into the Munger area. He's going to probably take care of Lamos while he's here. And then we've got ourselves a visit to Lower Norfair on the table. Now that does mean we get to see one of the community's favorite tricks. And the icebreaker here from Bressingham is he's pulling out the red cane as we speak, and he's going to go look through this little barrier on the right side where the big key location would be. Yeah, it looks like he wants to flip that switch as well.
Decision on whether you flip the switch or not.
I think it's usually runner's preference, excuse me. Gosh, it's fun, isn't it? I know a lot of runners might choose not to flip the switch if they're going to try to find every item in here, to at least make it a little bit easier to get to the iced tea room. But in this case, having to key in the first check, you're going to be able to just go down there anyway.
Right. Although if you don't flip the switch, you still need the big key to get down there.
Now, this is interesting because that's both keys in the top of Ice Palace. For
pulling the switch
to forget to pull the tongue. So we're going to see some Lower Norfair here. We've already seen what's waiting for us in Showcase Showdown, so we're not headed that way.
We haven't seen the rightmost item yet, because Eaterific died beforehand.
He did make an honest and valiant effort, took a little extra damage, triggered reserves, and then just could not get up there in time before getting bopped in the head by Gold Chorizo here. So I figure he feels he's just going to murderify the golden chicken and see what's waiting up there.
He does not like the full meat combo. Oh, for a piece of heart. But at least he got his revenge.
Yeah, and he also has the ability to just shine spark up through this room instead of, space jumping, setting a power bomb, jumping back up. It's quick, easy.
The way I used to do it until recently. I figured out you could, spark there.
Yeah, the boss room for Gold Chorizo does give you plenty of room for it. Want to see a pillar spark? No. That's one of the most satisfying shine sparks to do in the entire game right there, if you can manage to get the horizontal one off. As we talked about earlier, that X-ray scope gives us the microwave combo, but a little too late to be of any use to our runners here, as it's sitting in the big chest on Ice Palace.
All of the bosses that it would be useful for are already dead.
Yeah, that sometimes chat will ask, can't you microwave Ridley? Why can't you microwave Ridley? Well, the reason the microwave beam works is because the piercing property of plasma beam wasn't taken into account with a lot of the earlier bosses in the game's mechanics. So they just keep taking chain damage every buffered frame with the X-ray scope. Now, plasma doesn't pierce through Ridley. He just absorbs it and takes the full damage.
And the same for Mother Brain as well.
So that's going to be our first pendant of the match at the 2-hour 2 mark. And nothing really of any interest in Ice Palace. So it'll be, once again, interesting to see what Bressingham decides to do now. As he still has plenty of options on the table here.
Well, you can peek pod. You can go to Turtle Rock.
You can stop there. Looks like he's peeking into pod.
So he is.
Now this pod dive, it might be over very quickly if we find that it's bow locked, because that means, well, bow can't be there. If it's not, we may be seeing a few checks in the back of the dungeon before Bressingham either emerges with a bow or has to find somewhere else to be.
Is he bought a potion? And can he mimic clip without it otherwise?
I know earlier he tried buying a red potion from the shop at Ian Village of Outcasts after taking a Depths of Blind, but I don't know if I've seen him pick any up since.
I think he turned into his mushroom before he got his first bottle, so...
So the question is, can you mimic clip? And if you can, what does this actually gain you? Because unlike
probably 2 keys on the right side.
Unlike the Link to the Past standalone randomizer, there is no progressive bows here in SMZ3. You have one bow and you have to find it. That looks like a, hey, I feel like mimic clip to me.
Maybe? Not anymore?
I think he realized he didn't have a bow, so he can't go that side right now.
Or doesn't have a potion.
A very red-looking space dragon on the side of Metroid. And I'm pretty sure Ridley's dead.
that is all Super Metroid bosses down, except for Mother Brain.
Oh, it's ammo for a bow, but it's not a bow.
Pretty sure they've been maxed on ammo for said bow for quite a while now. I'm about to go check the back of Pod. Really wants to find a bow back here.
So Jen is asking, how exactly does the magic of SMZ3 work? Well, it starts with a madman named Total, and 2 fantastic Super Nintendo games in Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past and Super Metroid, released in 91 and 94 respectively. And so it turns out the developers for these games were so smart that knowing the architecture of the Super Nintendo and how it utilizes its memory, the developers found out that they're using opposite halves of the Super Nintendo's memory channel. So what they did is mash these 2 together, interlink the games with a couple cross-game portals, and smush the items around in a logical algorithm that allows us to find the bow in Lower Norfair. And just like that, at 2:06, Nitorific is in go mode.
And then also maybe some F's in chat for Bressingham, because it's going to be a while before he gets that bow.
If he's still searching for Varia or thinks the bow is a Link to the Past, it's going to be a long time before he gets that bow. And Nito knows he doesn't have to check anything else. He's going to reverse straight through an amphitheater here.
Bressingham is attempting the mimic clip.
If he feels like Varia's back here, this could, in his eyes, this is not a bad play. That might be the most completely incomplete description of this game that I've ever had.
Very good gate glitch. And Bressingham has done it. He made it through for some power bombs and a key.
At this point, chat, we need you to send the mental energy at Bressingham to tell him, hey, that Thieves Town basement has what you need, my friend.
So Nitorific, I believe the only crystals he has left is Pod and Eastern. Gonna pick up a safety potion.
Here are some words you don't get to hear every day. Go mode Eastern. Especially with the big key in the first check, he's going to be able to grab it and just ignore everything else, go straight to Armos Knights. With 45 arrows, Armos Knights are dead no matter whether or not you have silver in them or not.
Although I would imagine we're going to see a first arrow fired that's a normal arrow, and then Nitorific's going to go, huh? And then switch to silvers.
Yeah, he'll have to switch that bow on because he picked up the bow in Super Metroid. So it defaults to the regular bow. You can swap between the two. Silver do generate a good amount of ancilla lag with the sparkles. That sums up the seed pretty well, doesn't it? No Crocomire, never Spore Spawn, but on a night like tonight, we got to see Bomb Terizo. You called for a jet steed error. How do you feel?
I'm feeling pretty good about this one. I like it.
It's a pretty good time fixing up for Nerific here. In go mode, sub 210, with only 2 very quick dungeons, a GT and a Mother Brain. I didn't happen to catch where the big key was in the pod.
I believe it's in the maze.
All right, so it might be a couple seconds before Nito gets back there to grab it.
And to tell you how much of a jet seat this was for some runners, we already have a finisher in the race.
Ooh, we'll save that one for after our first restream finisher comes to play here, but my goodness. Have we ever wanted a normal seed to finally jet for us? Here it is.
You were one of those people who did Thieves Town before Hammer. So some people are, this is a jet seat, and for some people, this is going to be a last location, Varia, and the Big Chest of Thieves.
There are some runners that, like we discussed earlier, ended up not coming to play here, and I would imagine after this Meyer dive, Bressingham might actually go for it. There are runners in the community that played Super Metroid Reverse Boss Order, so they're used to being down in Norfair taking heat damage at the regular.
But you don't necessarily still want to do that, because it's not particularly fast.
One change that we recently made with 11.1 of the randomizer here is we did add back, as we saw, an energy refill station at the Screw Attack portal, which kind of facilitates that kind of a strategy.
And found his 2 items.
That he was going to find both items and bounce and not bank on that green pendant being something. The problem that I have with this now is he's going to go dive into Turtle Rock.
Certainly looks like it.
I'm telling you, that ultimate feels bad is going, oh shoot, there's an item in Thieves Town Big Chest, so hopefully it's nothing. And then it turns out it's the one thing that needed all along.
Got his big key, and now we'll be on this way to the boss. Still haven't found any mail upgrades.
Yeah, that's interesting to be 2 hours plus in and most of the locations checked in both games and not having seen a single mail as of yet.
Well, they could be the last half of Lower Norfair, could be the back of, could be anywhere in Upper Norfair, could be in any one of the pendant dungeons.
Could be in GT.
Could be in GT.
And there's places we know it's not going to be. It's not on the pedestal, as that's an arrow. We've seen all of the fetch quests except for Powder. Could be right here in Thieves Town or Mimic. Thieves Town, Turtle Rock. Oh my goodness.
So there are 6, well, 5+1 item locations in Turtle Rock.
Unfortunately, we know right now that there's not much that Restingham could really find here. What would it take to put you back into going into Thieves Town at this point?
The answer would be seeing a bunch of finishers in the chat and realize that it was just the location, that it was probably there.
In the same way, you could be like, oh, all these players went to Turtle Rock before I did, so maybe I'm going to find something here. Don't worry, we've only had one finish so far still in the race room.
But in all seriousness, it's really hard to go back to one orphaned item location, especially if it takes a little bit of time to actually reach it. So Shack Tool would fit into that. Waterway would fit into that. The Big Chest and Thieves fits into that. Para Basement.
Wreck Ship Reserve.
Wreck Ship Reserve, yeah.
Plasma is really not anything too easy to get to, or get out of, for that matter. Well, on the plus side, we'll get to see who the rest of our E-Tanks and Super Missiles are. You know, because we don't have enough of those already.
But yeah, if I every time I've left the Big Chest and Thieves and it's had something, it's been pretty close to the last location, and it feels bad every time. Unless Thieves Town itself is blocking the hammer somehow. Like you find something in the front four of Thieves and it blocks hammer, but still.
Hey, there's our first mail upgrade! On the Lava Chest of TR, of all places. We've already got chat going, conspiracy theorists on where we're going to find that big key. Don't worry, we'll be playing a game here very shortly. Start thinking of a number.
One crystal away from playing that game.
One crystal, probably less than, I would say, a minute and a half at most here.
About to get our Memory Cave check. And this is going to be the easiest armors fight ever.
Six shot, 6 kill. Already has the flute at the ready. And that, everybody, is going to be Meteorific 7th Crystal. You know what that means, Error.
Yes. It's time to go to Ganon's Tower. In which we'd like to play a game. There are 22 potential locations for the Ganon's Tower Big Key. We'd like to play a guessing game. Guess a number between 1 and 22. And if you guess correctly or are closest, you win. And get to give yourself a pat on the back. And maybe a little bit of chat groups. Personally, since I'm still on the Jet Seat vibe, this is going to be on the Torch. I'm guessing number 3.
Well, you're going to say Torch, but then you're going to say 3.
Yes. I'm predicting the exact route. I'm predicting Meteorific's going to check the 2 chests on the right side. They're not going to have what he seeks. Not even going to have a small key for him. It's going to force him to go back left side to find that big key on the Torch. That's how I'm calling it.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say 7. Seed's been pretty nice so far. Why would it stop being nice now? I feel like it's going to give you a key, or you're going to go left and then find it in Hope Room. It's going to be early either way.
Sorry, Bressingham. Trinex does have an item, and it's not going to be what you want.
So haven't you ever just wanted to take a visit to, you're going to the left side of GT, a visit to Trinex just because? It's a small key. What did you think of that?
I think I lost. But I can still be number 3, so I can still win.
It can still very much be 3. It's Stalfos room here.
It was a big enough key to me.
Luckily, with this equipment, Trinex is quite literally an easy fight. There's our 4th sword, everybody.
Maybe a little late on that sword, but we'll make the Ganon fight even more free.
We are the very definition of a glass cannon right now.
Just a bunch of blueberries right side. On the first 2 chests. Sorry, Bressingham, but you had a great Trinex fight. But it was only $20.
You know, effectively, you just stole Trinex's lunch money and didn't get much else out of it. So,
except blue mail, which was not the armor upgrade you were looking for.
I'm just trying to think if he has anything outstanding isolated that you might want to go look at. Oh, look at that! It's in the compass room, in the compass chest. Check number 11. Did we have an 11 in chat? We did have an 11 in chat. So we're going to shout out Beat Chapel 2005 for correctly guessing the big key guessing game. Congratulations, you get bragging rights for the remainder of this run.
Bressingham on his way to the big chest and thieves.
Yeah, I'm curious that he didn't finish up Vitreous with the green pendant.
So what's going to happen? What's going to happen to this this big chest? It's going to be a bunch of sword swings. Are you going to leave a couple bombs? Are you going to immediately just, you know, save and quit and head back to Super Metroid? Just continue going fast?
Just going to stare at it for a minute?
Maybe staring at it for a minute is certainly an option.
Meanwhile, we do have Nito just going through the gauntlet here.
Rest of him going through a gauntlet of his own right there.
The Gazax in Gauntlet 3 are always so rude when they decide to walk up that conveyor. And I just noticed something also very peculiar. We've seen one shield picked up this entire run as well.
It was reasonably early. And Nitorific just skipped it.
There's the mirror and leave for Bressingham. He knows exactly where he's going.
Off the lower Norfair. With a bunch of pendants around his neck. And probably a did he check Golden Tuizo yet?
He didn't, but I think he's giving it a pass for now.
That's fair.
Because the rest of Norfair is so much more density.
He checked Screw Attack earlier. I know he did that.
Yeah, I thought he might have gone for the checks at Golden Tuizo when he checked Screw Attack, even at the low health pool that we had at the time, but he gave it a pass. Pretty nifty use of that Ice Beam there for Bressingham going up worst room in the game.
I'll have to remember that. I like it. We're gonna get validated.
So we've stolen Trinex's lunch money on one side and Ganon's retirement savings on the other. What the heck?
Not gonna buy you an armor upgrade though.
No, and at this point I'm feeling like he probably doesn't even want one. This is textbook for him right now.
I don't know if I'd really want to be going into Ganon with, 5 hearts. He does have a blue potion though, so half magic and cape, so he can make it the Ganon fight pretty free and easy.
I mean, Gold Sword alone makes Ganon a free 1-1. Aga being a little bit not friendly with some of his patterns, but not too bad here.
Not too horrible though. Very clean pirate's kill over there. Don't stand so close to me. I believe it is 7 swings for each phase of Ganon with the gold sword.
It's actually 6, but you might see runners go ahead and just do 7. Make darn sure they didn't miss. And already in phase 3, we're just gonna hit Ganon a few times, let him take out a bit of his own floor. That's gonna cost the 300 rupees we took to replace.
That's Ridley down for Bressingham.
That is Ganon down for Meterific at 228.5. That's 1 down, 1 to go. So let's see some single G's in the chat for Meterific. Now keep an eye on Bressingham's stream because in just a couple of minutes he's going to be picking up a bow, and that puts him in go mode.
Just a little bit, because I believe it was... I don't know the name of that room.
It was on Firefleet E-Tank.
Firefleet E-Tank. One of these days, I'm going to take the time to learn all of the names of all of the locations.
So I never really asked this. Are you more of a Link to the Past player or a Super Metroid player yourself?
I'm bad at both. Oh, I'm not that bad at either, but basically I've never attempted to speedrun either game. Basically what little I know is strictly due to randomizers. And there is a bow pressing him, which means he is now in go mode.
Yeah, he's not even going to stick around and throw a super at it. He's just going. There's not really any time for him to save going into GT here because we saw Hope Room had a pair of... Oh, nice.
That was a clean room.
That was super clean. It's the kind of stuff that a rando player wouldn't just know right out the bat.
It's honestly great seeing, people who are really good at Super Metroid do Super Metroid things. There's such a skill ceiling in this game, and it's amazing. Not that there aren't good tricks to do in A Link to the Past as well, but watch a good Super Metroid runner do some of these rooms, and you go, just wow.
Pretty well done Metroid rooms for Neatorific, really getting into a groove in those last few. If you wanted to see some crazy tech, there are a lot of runners in this community that excel in both games, honestly. We're looking at two of the good ones right now. Prestingham and Neatorific have been around for quite some time. Both participated in the 2020 Spring 1 vs. 1 tournament, played in this logic. Both made quite a name for themselves in that tournament. Of course, we saw Solsky did take the victory there last year. Always some room for more people to step in and get interested in Rando. Or, the other way around. You like the randomizer so much that you tried the vanilla game for the first time.
All the item locations.
And that brings us to, well, what if you ever wanted to try specifically this randomizer? Well, that's easy, my friend.
This handy-dandy website and Discord for it. Which I would now need to, actually potentially post in chat.
Yeah, if you were ever interested in what's going on between these two games and wanted to make a seed of your own, you can go visit samus.link. Yes, that's a real website. And roll your own seed. Early Morph Ball if you want to force it that way. Early Sword if you want to force it that way. Or both. Or randomized, kind of like we play in the competitive sphere. Neo is deciding he doesn't want to tarry with the Zeb skip here. He's got plenty of ammunition. He's got the full beam combo.
Skip isn't that much faster than just killing it with ammo. And sorry, you are out of super missiles.
Item cancel is your friend sometimes.
You cannot grapple beam Mother Brain confirmed.
I'm just going to ask, why would you want to?
It works on Dragon.
It works on Dragon. It works on Crocomire if you want to mutilate it.
Sort of. Doesn't actually do damage to his arm.
So each of these full charge ice wave plasma beam shots are going to do 900 pieces of damage to Mother Brain's cranium here. And with only 18,000 HP, she's already in her cutscene phase. We're going to see a little bit of tech. And right back up. Damage himself down to under any tank. And you have full control of Samus during the scene.
Down goes Humusar while we wait for the baby to do its thing. still to go.
Bressingham, yeah.
So all of these shots that Nidourific is doing are actually damaging the final phase of Mother Brain. You don't need the Hyper Beam to just finish the game. So basically a perfect run of this would be Mother Brain doesn't miss any shots on the baby, and you only need like 1 or 2 Hyper Beam shots to finish the fight. There is some soft lock potential though if you mess up here, but playing it extra safe there.
Not a bad stand-up glitch. I believe that is 8 or 9 shots. Pretty good. Done optimally, this can save you something in the long realm of 20 seconds or so in the course of a run. Mother Brain 3 has 40,000 HP, so 900 per shot. That saves some time. You don't get to sit there and do nothing. You actually get to, set the planet on fire.
Now the real question is, do you save the animals?
No.
They're so heartless.
In any situation except a race, maybe.
All right, that's fair. Gotta save the frames. And Nidourific's got a really good time going, so as this is going to be very quick, even by great player standards. So
when you consider the average seed for SMZ3, a lot of people say 3 hours is a pretty good time on normal. Well, you've got players finishing in the realm of 2:30, and faster than that even. We've seen it. We've seen seeds come close to the 2-hour mark. We saw this one today. But let's see some GGs in chat for Nidourific, who will finish first place on our restream. 3rd overall on race time, clocking in at 2:37.12.
GG's for Nidourific. We'll see if we can potentially get him in here for an interview.
It's no secret to the community who finished first, but we will welcome Nido into the chat with us. GG, Nido.
GG, thank you.
How'd you feel about this seed?
I was Jetty. I just didn't realize how Jetty it was until Ozzy finished.
All right, you put off the use sound for a while, and I know it's something a lot of runners like to do, especially if you don't have a hammer. And in this case, going back with the hammer ended up paying out big for you.
Yeah, wish I'd gone earlier. But I thought about it and said it's probably not, because I was following the latest thing I found, which was slippers on Bumper Cave Ledge. I figured was something must be in swamp and nothing was there. So I was thinking maybe Zora, maybe on a waterfall cave, and Bombos was there. Like, is it a troll? Like Fire Rod and Pendant Ice. I thought about it and said, you know what? I'll finish the crystal dungeons I can finish now, and then I'll think about it, what to do. And Varia and Fire Rod were in Thieves. That's surprising. Thieves never has anything usually.
Just Varia, Fire Rod, and Kane was in there as well.
Yeah.
Well, which was required because Big
Yes.
Key was right side.
Yeah.
So Bressingham, he was one of the runners who dipped Thieves Town before Hammer. And thus basically not completely last location, but pretty close to last location for Arya Suit.
I was expecting to have to hell run Ridley.
That was going to be...
Yeah. I was picking every E-Tang and every reserve I saw, and ammo too, except missiles, because you have plenty of missiles. Because I was fully expecting to have to hell run Ridley. And turns out I almost had to. Maybe Ozzy hell ran Ridley and found Bow and Firefly and wasn't going well there. I don't know.
That's what I would think that he would do, knowing that he's an RBO kind of player. Is with the amount of E-tanks you were picking up in Meridian, my next question would have been, at what point do you think you would have considered diving into Norfair?
I've bbeen trolled before by hell running in normal seas and finding nothing. So I was putting it off. I was kind of hoping for a go mode area, because then I'd be able to just go straight to Ridley and back. I had enough E-tanks, I had plenty of ammo. Could have crystal flashed like 4 times before having to resupply. So yeah, I was kind of hoping, expecting, but turns out Varia was where it was.
On the positive, where it was pointed you in the right direction. You ended up being able to 1-2 punch through Thieves and Skull Woods, and then at that point you already knew what your goal was going to be, so it worked out in the way it routed through.
Yeah, I checked pad because I was expecting a troll at some point. Like Bo could be on pad, and that would put me in go mode, or rather no mode. I would have had not full clear, but jet to go modem 3 dungeons, but no, it was just a missile. So it wasn't trolley C, it was pure jet C, really, except maybe the various suit and these bishop chests. That's pretty rare, I almost went there first because it's usually very rare, very, very rare that you have to return to Thieves with the hammer to find progression in the big chest. Normally I would have done Thieves earlier, but I had a lot of other options open to me, so I figured I'll just, see what I find in the overworld. And I found what did I find? Boots. That led to Mirror. That led to what was that?
That would be the hammer and checkerboard, yeah.
Yeah, that led, hammer and checkerboard, which led to Hookshot on Death Mountain.
Hookshot, lamp, gravity.
Yeah.
The seed kept giving you something to do that was better than Thieves Town, and at the end, giving it a skip actually works out, but otherwise you end up double dipping for that Varia suit.
Yeah. It was a fun seed overall.
To be honest, this was just kind of one of those seeds that, nothing super exciting happened, if that makes any sense.
Well,
other than the various suit in Thieves Town, there wasn't really any trolls anywhere. Super early Morph Ball, super early Moon Pearl, reasonably early Dark World access.
Speed booster in the most convenient of locations.
Yes.
I think the only place that could possibly be better than where it was is right there on Charge Beam.
Yeah.
That glove location in Wreck Ship basically pushing into a 2+1, 2+2 Phantom fight. We did see a few runners give an early forfeit. Do you think maybe that was kind of a gate for those who weren't as skilled at low percent?
Well, unless they never, because most people will refill and save at the ship after doing Bryn Loop, so I figured. I mean, you do lose time if you die to Fentune. You lose like 3 minutes. I don't know how far into the fight you were, but I'd be surprised anyone forfeiting it because of that. Because we had plenty of ammo and we have charged plasma, so you could play super safe and just keep charging plasma. And every time you open his eyes, you just shoot him there, so you never take damage from his charge or his flames.
Right.
I almost died though. I was
grateful. That one really close.
Was grateful I had an opportunity to crystal flash mid battle.
Yeah,
and that crystal flash is not free in that fight. So lots of ammo early, so at least made that super easy. But
I don't remember where Ether was. Was it in Death Mountain too? Purple chest. Okay.
Ether was purple chest, yes.
Well,
you didn't need to go in either in the medallion dungeons anyway, so
it was still very suspect.
Right.
Not having the cane out of Thieves Town kind of saved you a little bit because the game basically says, here, go into Mire. You have everything for it. Ooh, and Bressingham is going to be warping to the front of GT as it takes a death in Mimics 2.
That's not too far from them.
Yeah, that's probably one of the nicer places to be taking a death. You don't want to, just get bumped off and torches or take an eyeball going up to torches 2 or something.
Oh yeah, dying to Aga 2 is probably the worst death you can ever take in this game. You lose 5 minutes?
You lose 5 minutes. Any resources that you used along the way as well, if you happen to, swallow a potion or something.
Well, that was fun. Thanks for having me, and thanks for all the hard work.
Yeah, thanks for the restream. It's been a while since I've gotten to see you play. It's all a lot of fun as always.
Congratulations on finishing first on the restream and third in the race.
Thanks. I'll let you guys finish.
All right.
GG's once again to Nitorific. Again, third place on our restream. Third place in the race overall. First on our restream out of these two runners. Bressingham, of course, we see going through the gauntlet again. What am I saying again? He didn't make it the first time. Still, that was a much nicer place to die than, getting BMO sniped up here, for example. There's so many things that can just go wrong in the GT climb. So the earlier it happens, the better.
And there really weren't very many safeties, at least early on. There's still no powder. I think Bressingham has 2 bottles at this point, but I don't know if either of them are filled with anything.
It's SMZ3, your bottles will always come empty. Both fairies will give you a green potion, so you'd have to go to the potion shop or, find a fairy to actually put something in it, presuming you have the bug net to begin with. But, now out of the gauntlet, about to face Lambo 2, this should be pretty much smooth sailing for the rest of the seed here for Bressingham.
So as a little bit of a race recap, there have been 4 people who are finished. Aussie 101 has finished first in a time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, 11 seconds. Second was Solsky at 2 hours, 36 minutes, 15 seconds. Nitorific was third just 1 minute afterwards at a 2 hours, 37 minutes, 12 seconds. Fourth was PP Chan at 2 hours, 40 minutes, 38 seconds. And we just now had a 5th place finisher in Polar Bear Bunny at 2 hours, 47 minutes, and 50 seconds.
Now, there were 20 players that entered this race, so that is 5 of them finished. There are still, I'm trying to do math, there are still 12 runners participating. There have been 3 forfeits. You had Rake Jake, Freddy N3K, and Sanders 316 hang it up early. Again, this is a really nice turnout for a Monday night. Usually it's a little bit of a smaller race. 20 people for a normal on a 9 p.m. Eastern start is pretty insane in my book.
This is quite a nice turnout indeed. The Sunday races would generally have a few more. It was helped by being a normal seed. I know some people are uncomfortable doing hard mode. Although most hard mode seeds end up being basically normal mode seeds anyway. But most, not all.
Yeah, there's not really a lot of circumstances where hard is going to give you this super crazy, out-of-the-way tech that you absolutely have to do to get through the seed. More so, it'll open up the world a little bit because of what's logically available, where progression can be placed, without being put behind artificial gates like, say, early supers or the Ice Beam Hell Run. Yeah, but that one seed that requires Suitless Meridia is just... That's going to put a lot of people right off of that, huh? And Neil letting us know yesterday's seed. Oh no, yesterday's seed not so good. I believe I heard the location of something that wasn't a very nice location. And we see Aga for Bressingham. Nice double to open up with.
That's impressive double considering the location of the clones. And another double. Just needs 2 more. One more energy ball should do it. And there's Aga 2 down.
Did just have another finish over in race time. Maniacal has posted a time of 2:50 and 32 seconds. It's good enough for 6th place here.
Bressingham chasing Ganon back to the pyramid. Well, you should also have a pretty easy time. Gold sword, cape.
He might even have an easier of a time just because of that blue nail. If he happens to take a hit, it's not going to hurt anywhere near as bad.
Doing the required like 6 or 7 hits plus who knows how many more. Practicing tempered sword strats, of course.
You called for a jet seed. And, you know, this kind of a seed layout where you've got visible items and you know exactly what you're looking for. And then you've got the trifecta of the 3 most intense item required Dark World dungeons, all pendants. It's almost the kind of thing you would really, really look for if you're just looking for a quick run.
And maybe it's just me, but I was kind of hoping for, I wanted the jet. I called the jet seed, but I was kind of hoping for one of those seeds to where you got Morph Ball plus both suits early and really opened up some routing options. But the seed's been fairly, I want to call it a fairly linear seed for a combo randomizer seed. Opened up some in the middle, but with Dark World access, but game was leading you places.
And that's actually really, if you think about this restream specifically, where things they kind of diverged a little bit, because that's when you saw Nito give a pass to Thieves Town, whereas Bressingham went in. It turned out that giving Thieves Town a wide berth until you had a hammer and a reason to be there to clean up crystals actually managed to work out.
Yep. That's the way it goes sometimes when you have, how many item locations?
There are 216 locations in Link to the Past and 100 unique locations in Super Metroid for 316.
When you have 316 unique potential item locations.
We saw Aussie say that he finished with 189 checks. We see on Naderific screen he had 203. Bressingham's is going to be a smidgen higher than that, I would say.
Probably around 220. Watching how clean these Metroid rooms are makes me want to practice and actually get good.
Oh. Nito says, I finished with all of the bomb and arrow capacity upgrades. Is that worth bonus points?
Absolutely.
But you should petition race time for that.
No bomb left behind. Or arrow.
In this case, no rupee left behind either. We saw a lot of those. Except for the 300 on Catfish. Neither runner on a restream decided to pick those up, despite knowing full well they were about to go pay a hefty sum to Zora. When money's not an object anymore.
much money weighs you down. You gotta keep your rupee count low just so you have a little bit of pressure when you go have to pay Kiki, right? That's how it works. Bressingham trying to do baby skip. Successfully skipped a couple of times, but didn't quite make it.
This is one I really need to learn how to do. There's a lot of fun techs between just hopping into terrain, getting through those Metroid rooms cleanly, and going through the escape. There's, you got the baby skip, of course. There's a couple of different ways you can handle the shine sparks in the escape sequence. There's the blue bomber, which is fun to see when you do see it.
We'll see if Bressingham goes for any of the Zeb skip options.
I think he just tried to do a Ghidorah skip there. Unfortunately, that doesn't work.
Only in Key Sanity and only certain ones.
Yeah, we're going to see an ice Zeb skip from Bressingham here, assuming that he gets hit, and then there goes the ring guy. This is a feels bad when you're set up for it and then literally nothing comes your way.
Got it the second time, though. Throw lots of missiles into the Mother Brain. And there's Mother Brain 1. I believe it is 20 charge shots with the full beam combo.
20 charge shots, or, if you didn't have the charge beam, it would be 60 supers, which, as you see, 70 in the capacity there. Ammo was not at all, at any point of the seed, of any concern. Just
only helped early.
Strong offense off the gate.
Bressingham setting up for the stand-up glitch. Has it set up quite nicely.
Hovering Samus.
Absolutely not a glitch at all. Working
as intended, right? It's always important to catch the second hop when the baby detaches from Mother Brain is the other time you have to get up here and boop.
I believe if you have, is it the X-ray scope that if you mess up the second jump, you can sometimes get out of it, but I don't know all the details.
I've never seen it. I have heard that you can get out of a soft lock type situation with the X-ray scope, but in my experience, haven't had to do it and haven't seen anyone else have to do it. I have soft locked in the transition to Mother Brain standing up phase after the baby death, and that's very easy to do. If you happen to have a shot on screen, the game has no idea what to do with it. So you end up going more to seconds per frame rather than frames per second.
And then whether the game lets you go or not is completely up to the game.
Really clean stand-up for Bressingham, though. That was a 3-shot MB3 with the Hyper Beam.
Neaterific in chat saying, if you're in kneeling position, X-ray lets you get back up. But the planet's about to explode. You must escape immediately. If you were to have beaten Super Metroid first, you would still get the escape sequence, but you wouldn't have the timer, and the animals would live, and so would Spore Spawn, and so would Crocomire.
And so would Shaq Tool.
And so would Shaq Tool.
Unless you personally went down there and played Hitman. Woman in this case? I don't know.
Only if it had been the first bottle. That would feel so bad just to go to Shack Tool and see the very first bottle you find there.
And then turn in for 20 rupees.
And realize that there is a very, very slight chance that is progression. Yes, that kid got turned in for 20 rupees, I believe.
Yeah, it was a big old 20. We didn't see a bottle until we went into Meridian in the first place. But let's see some GGs in the chat for Bressingham. He is about to land on that ship, take a dive, and out into the atmosphere he goes. Finishing in 8th place, second on a restream, 3 hours and 30 seconds.
Congratulations to Bressingham. See if we can get him in for an interview.
You know, right before Bressingham finished, we did have our 7th place finisher was Hrekinus with a 2:59 and change, just squeaking under that sub 3 mark.
Hey,
Bressingham.
Hey, thanks. So I hope that was a nice show for you guys. I want to win a little sour for me.
Well, it was on the restream itself. It was a tale of basically 2 decisions, and you probably know what those decisions were. You were basically taking almost the exact same path until you went to Dark World, in which Neaterific skipped doing Thieves Town until later, and you did Thieves Town basically right away without the hammer, and it's just one of those rare seeds where orphaning the big chest in Thieves Town didn't work out. So with all the extra stuff you had to do, finishing basically at 3 hours is still a great time.
Thanks. Yeah, I feel good that I almost squeaked in a sub 3 off of that. I'm gonna try and catch my collection rate so I can post it on my comment.
So, Bressingham, I'm going to pose to you the same question I was about to pose to Nito.
Okay.
At what point did you even consider possibly hell running Norfair?
After I found somewhere near the end, I realized I needed Varia and Cape, and I forgot about Bow. So as soon as I found Cape, I thought I was in no Varia go mode. And then by the time I got to Hyrule, I realized I still needed the Bow. But yeah, if I had found the Bow first, I would have gone for it. But that's not how I went. And I figured it was going to be Varia, just a little bit more likely that was going to happen, I think. But yeah, it was definitely on the mind.
Yeah, that's definitely what we were actually talking about earlier. If the Bow shows up first, you feel like anyone's going to dive into Lower Norfair, especially seeing the kind of HP situation that the two of you were in going through Meridia. Neither of you skipped any of the E-tanks, so it had to have been on your mind at that point.
Yeah, I definitely was considering it. I wanted to have Space Jumper and Screw Attack, but at that point my ammo was so good and I had so much health, and I had Spring Ball, High Jump Speed, full beams, basically. Actually, no, I only had Plasma. So I thought about it, but I would have wanted to have more stuff before I did it. I'm glad that Very showed up, though. It just makes the seed easier.
So outside of that one crucial decision that, it's very easy to make, and sometimes it's, the 1 in umpteen chance that turned out to be Varia and Thieves Town Big Chest tonight. The seed was pretty jet, would you say? All the fun.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the finish from Aussie, but that is one of the fastest I've ever seen. It was a 2:10.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go right now and see what is the fastest time posted on Race Time.
It's pretty close to that. Or at least in SRL, I think it's like something like that.
The
Pretty
best
much.
time,
In a
the best
couple
time
minutes.
posted on Race Time prior to this race was a 2:23 by Maniacal.
Wow.
So
Nice.
this is now the fastest time on Race Time for SMZ3.
Nice. Nicely done,
So
Aussie.
yeah, good job, Aussie.
Yeah. I mean, I could also tell Jet Seed because of all the other people that finished 230, 240, 250. That's really good. And when I found Barry, I knew it was kind of over.
It's
But yeah, go ahead.
as far as normal goes, this is probably one of the nicer normal seeds we have seen in the community races in probably a long time.
Wow. That warms my heart.
Except maybe for the somewhat early fan tune.
Yeah, that was a little bit dicey.
He had a really clean kill on that though. That was a super clean 3 cycle.
Thank you.
But
Yeah, that one went well.
really, this is one of those. I almost want to call it a boring seed, except for that very in the big chest of thieves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have to agree. Standard
And-
seed. It's actually, I liked how all of the mids dungeons were pendants. That was a nice little bait and switch early on. And there's nothing in any of them, so yeah.
The only thing of note was Blue Mail in Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
I guess Green Pendant might have had another mail or Screw Attack or something, but do you have anything else you'd like to add about the seed? Any other thoughts?
No, it's a lot of fun. Thanks for putting me on Restream, and I appreciate you guys doing comms and Restream and everything. You guys are awesome.
And thank you for racing for us. Hope to see you next time.
Yeah, I hope so. Thanks.
And with that, do you have any final thoughts? It's interesting to see the item disparity between the two seeds. You know, Bressingham having 241 collected items and Nidourific's 203.
You know, it's the difference one location can make, and that's rando.
So this is how it ends up a lot of times. 316 item locations. There's always that one spot. Except when it isn't.
Yeah, we have
The randomizer.
We are saying in chat over 1,000 seeds between the combo randomizer and Link to the Past standalone. Forfeiting Thieves Town Big Chest has only mattered 3 times, which tells you just how unlikely it is for something like that to happen. And on any given seed and any given day, yep. Tonight was that night. I want to give one final parlay. If you like what you saw on this race restream, there are 20 racers that we had participating in this one, but these two put on one heck of a show. One last invitation to follow Bressingham and Nidourific in their Twitch travels. Nido does play a lot of SMZ3 on the side. Bressingham plays some Super Metroid as well, and you saw that execution going through Turian. That was a super fast Metroid's room.
And we want to say thank you to our tracker, Raylan Tinker. Thank you very much, keeping us on track. No pun intended.
And Error for joining me on commentary, or is it the other way around? I don't know.
So I joined you.
You were signed up first, sir. That will do it for us tonight on Speed Gaming 2 and from the SMZ3 and our Speed communities. Make sure you follow Speed Gaming 1 through 6 to catch all your speedrun favorites. Got a tournament coming up next week in the Metroid Prime 2 Randomizer. And of course, Link to the Past Randomizer League is entering its finals, so keep an eye out for those matches.
And with that, I think we're done here. Thank you very much. Catch more Speed Gaming content